If episode 5 broke your brain with the Mikkel is Michael twist, then episode 6 is where the reality truly sinks in. The atmosphere in Winden shifts instantly. It feels heavier and 10 times darker. Suddenly, you're looking at every conversation and every missing person poster with fresh eyes, realizing they carry a devastating new meaning. So let's jump straight back into Winden, the only town where getting one answer just leaves us with 3 new questions. Episode 6 begins with Regina having a nightmare about being tied to a tree in the front of the cave in 1986. She screams for Ulrich and Katarina to let her go, but instead of help, what comes out of those caves is this deep, unnatural roar. Regina jolts awake, gasping for air like she's drowning. Alexander is right there to ground her, insisting it was just a nightmare. But the tension in the room tells us they both know Regina's trauma is never just a dream. Meanwhile, at the station, Charlotte is done playing nice. With 1 body found and 3 kids gone, she tells the team this isn't a search anymore. It's an all-out emergency. She orders a deep dive into the archives going back 50 years, convinced that this is part of a dark, repeating cycle. But here's the tragic irony. While the cops prepare to bury themselves in paperwork, the smoking gun is already hanging in plain sight at the school. Tucked away in a gallery is a class photo from 1987, and there he is, Mikkel, standing among students from the past. The answer is staring them right in the face, but no one is looking in the right direction. Back at the Conwald house, Jonas is barely keeping it together. He's looking at his mother while carrying this impossible secret. His dad is actually Mikkel. Trying to make sense of it, he asks Hannah how they met. She reminisces about meeting Michael in the hospital when she was 14, admitting he was a very different person before his sickness took over. For a split second, you can see Jonas wanting to scream the truth, but he holds back. He realizes that dropping that bombshell right now would simply be too much. Meanwhile, Ulrich is in detective mode, digging through cold cases. He finds the 1986 file on his missing brother, Mads, and plays an old interrogation tape in which Egon Tiedemann is questioning Ulrich's mother, Jana. Egon presses her about Tronte's whereabouts that night, and while Jana swears he was home, her voice wavers. That hesitation is loud and clear, and it plants a serious seed of doubt in Ulrich's mind. Over at the Nielsen house, Katarina is shocked to see Magnus and Martha heading to school only 4 days after Mikkel disappeared. When she accuses them of being selfish for trying to move on, Martha fires back with a brutal truth. Their parents have been so focused on the missing son, they've completely neglected the kids still standing right in front of them. Finally, Katarina takes her anger out and slaps Martha. Martha storms out, leaving Magnus to just hug his mom in the wreckage of the argument. We also get a quiet, devastating moment with Regina. She opens a letter from a breast cancer screening center, and the way her hands shake tells us everything we need to know about the fear she's feeling. Meanwhile, Jonas finds his next move. He checks his map and discovers a fresh message in red ink left by the stranger. Follow the signal. A new path is marked leading straight into the caves. He knows exactly where he has to go. Ulrich isn't wasting any time. He heads straight to his parents' place and grills Tronte about Mads' disappearance and whether the old detective Egon ever found a lead. Tronte just scoffs, dismissing Egon as an incompetent idiot who only cared about his pension. But Ulrich drops a bomb. The dead boy found in the woods was wearing 80s clothes. He confronts his father about his shaky alibi for the night Mads vanished, remembering him coming home late. When Tronte gets defensive, Ulrich snaps. He grabs his own father by the throat, demanding to know where he was the night Mikkel disappeared. It's a raw, violent moment that only stops when Jana rushes in to separate them. After Tronte storms out, the mood shifts. Jana tries to diffuse the tension with a memory from Christmas 1985, specifically about the boys breaking a glass table, which left a distinct scar on Mads's chin. But Ulrich isn't here for nostalgia. He asks why she lied for Tronte all those years ago, and finally the truth drops. She was covering for him because he was having an affair with Claudia Tiedemann. And the biggest reveal? The last person to actually see Mads alive wasn't a stranger, it was Claudia's daughter, Regina. Meanwhile, at the Nielsen house, Katarina is exhausted from hanging missing posters. Suddenly, she notices a recurring number on the phone bill. She calls it, and Hannah answers, assuming it's Ulrich. Katarina slams the phone down, stunned. In the middle of a missing person crisis, she just realized her husband is cheating on her with their friend. Amongst the chaos, Jonas heads back into the cave. Guided by his light and the red line on the map, he pushes deeper into the caves, step by step closer to the center of the maze. Meanwhile, Ulrich storms into the hotel, and the vibe is instantly toxic. He goes straight for the jugular, demanding to know what Regina saw the night Mads disappeared, since she was the last person to see him alive. The conversation gets personal fast. Regina confirms the affair between their parents, but then she cuts deeper. She tells Ulrich that Mads was the only good person she knew, and honestly, she wishes Ulrich had been the one to vanish instead. We finally get the backstory on why. Ulrich and Katarina used to bully her, and Mads was her protector, walking her home through the woods right up until he disappeared. When Ulrich tries to brush off the bullying as a childish prank, Regina shuts him down. He never apologized. Ulrich fires back, accusing her of ruining his life with a false rape claim years ago. But Regina drops a massive truth bomb. It wasn't her. It was Hannah. She reveals Hannah has been obsessed with Ulrich since she was 14. Ulrich leaves, frustrated and clueless. Back at the station, the pieces finally click into place for Ulrich. He digs up the 1986 files and confirms that it was Hannah who filed that false rape report. The realization hits him like a truck. The woman he's sleeping with is the same person who destroyed his reputation 30 years ago. Meanwhile, we get a gut-wrenching moment with Alexander. He finds Regina's hidden letter and calls the screening center. The doctor delivers the worst possible news. It's invasive carcinoma, and it has metastasized. Alexander freezes, crushed by the weight of knowing his wife is fighting a battle she might not win. While personal lives implode, the mystery ramps up. Tronte and Peter leave the cabin and head for the bunker, watching the clock tick closer to 9:17 p.m. At the same time, Jonas is deep in the caves. He finds a long red cord attached to the walls, marking a specific path. It feels deliberate, like someone laid this breadcrumb trail years ago just for him. But the real explosion happens at the Kahnwald house. Ulrich storms in, pushes past a confused Hannah, and pins her against the wall. He demands to know what she wants, and her answer is chillingly simple: you. Ulrich isn't having it. He calls her poison and delivers a line that crosses every line. No wonder your husband killed himself. Hannah slaps him. Hard. Ulrich recoils, realizing he never really knew her at all. He storms out, leaving their relationship in ruins. Then we witness the first vessel of time travel. Jonas follows the red cord to a narrow passage and finds a metal door with an Ouroboros handle and the inscription Sic Mundus Creatus Est. Jonas opens it, and a fierce wind blasts through the tunnel. Instantly, a chain reaction hits Winden. At exactly 9:17 p.m., lights flicker everywhere. At the school, on Charlotte's car, and in the bunker where Peter and Tronte watch in disbelief. Their leather notebook predicted this exact second, proving they know way more than they're letting on. Jonas navigates a fork in the cave tunnel, chooses the right path, and passes through another door. Suddenly, the flickering lights across town stabilize. The event is over. And then the episode hits us with a double twist ending. First, Jonas steps out of the cave. But something is wrong. It's raining, and the missing person posters aren't for Mikkel. They're for Mads. A van pulls up, and a man offers him a ride. Jonas freezes when he realizes the little girl in the passenger seat is his mother, Hannah. He's not in 2019 anymore. He's in 1986. Second, Ulrich goes back to the morgue. He looks at the dead boy's chin and sees the scar, the same scar from the glass table incident. His heart stops. The dead boy isn't a stranger. It's his brother Mads, who hasn't aged a single day since he vanished 33 years ago. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the powerful Sic Mundus Creatus Est, Episode 6 of Dark Season 1. What an episode! The clock is ticking and the past, present, and future are about to collide in a spectacular and devastating way. Don't miss Episode 7, where everything changes.